engagement in affairs, poor fool, you cannot see what to avoid or what to do in each emergency. Half mad, you speakst of womankind as blessed with every grace, yet most as common are to men as drunkards' drinking place. Sorrow, disease, calamity, like harshest chains to bind. Mirage and fraud, the snare of death, deep-seated in the mind. Such women are. Who trusts in him is vilest of his kind. Then the Dharmarata goose, in his infatuation for the female gender, said, You know not the virtues of womankind, but the sages know. They are not deserving of criticism. And by way of explanation he said, Truth that sages ascertained, who is there that dares to blame? Women in this world are born, destined to great power and fame. They for flirtation are formed, joys of love for them decreed. Seeds within him germinate, source from where all life's sustained. They from whom man draws his breath scarce by man may be refused. Are you, sumukha, alone versed in ways of womankind? Did you only, moved by fear, this belated wisdom find? Meeting danger every man bears up bravely amidst alarm. In a crisis sages all make efforts to shelter us from harm. Princes then to advise them gladly would have a hero brave. Against the shock of adverse fate, good to advise, strong to save. Let not royal cooks, I request, roast our mangled limbs today. As its fruit the bamboo kills, us 2 golden plumes might kill. Free you would not fly from me, captive of your own free will. Cease from words in danger's hour, up, a manly part fulfill. The great being by singing the praises of womankind reduced Sumukha to silence, but on seeing how distressed he was, he now, to soothe him, repeated this stanza. An effort make such as is due, with justice as your plea. And by heroic act, dear friend, restore my life to me. Then Sumukha thought, he is greatly terrified by fear of death. He does not know my powers. After seeing the king of Benares and having a little talk with him, I shall know what to do. Meanwhile I will comfort my king, and he spoke this stanza. Fear not, O noble bird, for fears become not one like you. An effort I will duly make, with justice as my plea. And soon by my heroic act you shall once more be free. While they were thus conversing in the language of birds, the hunter did not understand a single word they said. But carrying them on his pole he entered Benares, followed by a lot of people, who, filled with wonder and amazement, stretched on their hands in pleading attitude. On reaching the door of the palace, the hunter had his arrival made known to the king. The master, to make the matter clear, said, The hunter with his burden to the palace gate came near. Announce me to the king, he cried, the red goose is here. The doorkeeper went and announced his arrival. The king was highly delighted and said, Let him come here at once. And attended by a crowd of courtiers and seated upon the throne with a white umbrella held over him, he saw Khemaka ascend to the dais with his burden. And looking at the gold-colored geese, he said, My heart's desire is fulfilled, and he gave an order to his courtiers that all due service should be rendered to the hunter. To make the matter clear, the master said, Seeing these birds with holy looks and marks auspicious blessed, King Samyama with words like these his counselors addressed. Give to the hunter meat and drink, soft food, apparel brave, and store of red gold as much as heart of man can crave. Being highly elated with joy, he in this way showed his pleasure and said, Go and dress the hunter and bring him back to me. So the courtiers, taking him down from the palace, had his hair and beard trimmed, and when he had taken a bath and had been anointed and was opulently dressed, they brought him into the presence of the king. Then the king conferred on him 12 villages, yielding annually 100,000 pieces of money, a chariot yoked with thoroughbreds, a large well-equipped house and very great honor. On receiving so great honor, the hunter, to explain what he had done, said, "This, sire, is no ordinary goose that I have brought you. This is the king of 90,000 geese, Dharmarata by name, and this is the chief captain, Sumukha." Then the king asked, "How, friend, did you catch them?" The master, to make the matter clear, said. Seeing the hunter highly pleased, the king of Kasi said, "If, khema, on the lake geese in their thousands fed. Amidst the group of similar bird, please tell, how did you plan to single out this lovely bird and capture him alive?" The hunter answering him said, "Through 7 long days with anxious care in vain I marked the spot, searching for that fair goose's track, concealed within a pot. Today I found the feeding ground to which the goose went, and there straightway I set a trap and lo, he soon was snared." On hearing this the king thought, this fellow standing at the door and telling his story spoke only of the arrival of the Dharmarata king, and now too he speaks of this one only. What can be the meaning of this? And he spoke this stanza. "Hunter, you speak of only one, yet here 2 birds I see. It is some mistake, why would you bring this second bird to me?" Then the hunter said, "There was no change of purpose on my part, nor am I anxious to present the second goose to someone else. Moreover, only one was caught in the snare I set," and in explanation he said, "The goose with lines like red gold all running down his breast. Caught in my snare I here bring, O king, at your behest." This splendid bird himself still free sat by the captive's side, the while with kindly human speech his friend to cheer he tried. And he then after this manner proclaimed the virtues of Sumukha. As soon as he knew that the Dharmarata goose was caught, he stayed and consoled his friend, and on my approach he came to meet me and remained poised in the air, conversing pleasantly with me in human language and telling of the virtues of the Dharmarata, and after thus softening my heart, he once more took his stand in front of his friend. Then I, sire, on hearing the eloquence of Sumukha was converted and let the Dharmarata loose. Thus was the release of Dharmarata from the snare, and my coming here with these geese all owing to Sumukha." On being told this the king was anxious to hear a sermon from Sumukha. And while the hunter was still paying honor to him, the sun set, lamps were lighted, and a crowd of warrior chiefs and others gathered together, and Queen Khema, with an escort of many bands of dancers, took her seat on the right of the king. And at this moment the king, desiring to persuade Sumukha to speak, uttered this stanza. "Why, Sumukha, do hold your tongue. Is it from awe, I request, that in my royal presence you have not a word to say?" Hearing this, Sumukha, to show he was not afraid, said, "I fear not, Kasi lord, to speak amidst your royal gathering. Nor, should occasion fit arrive, would I from words abstain." Hearing this, the king, desirous to make him speak at greater length, insulting him, said, "No archers clad in armor, no wheel, no leather shield I see. No escort bold of horse or foot, no cars, no infantry. I see no yellow gold, no town with great buildings crowned. No watchtower made impregnable with moat encircling round, entrenched in which by Sumukha will nothing to fear be found." When the king had in this wise asked why he was not terrified, Sumukha replied in this stanza, "No escort for a guard I want, no town or wealth need I. Amidst pathless air we find a way and travel through the sky. If you were stablished in the truth, we gladly to you would teach some useful lesson for your good in wise and subtle speech. But if you are a liar, false, one of ignoble strain, this hunter's words of eloquence appeal to you in vain. On hearing this the king said, Why you speak of me as lying and ignoble? What have I done? Then Sumukha said, Well, listen to me, and he spoke as follows. At Brahmans asking you did make this khema, lake of fame, and did to birds at twice 5 points immunity proclaim. Within this peaceful pool thus fed with streams serene and pure, birds ever found abundant food and lived a life secure. Hearing this noised abroad we came to visit that fair scene, and snared by you we found alas, your promise false had been. But under cover of a lie each act of sinful greed loses right to rebirth as man or God, and straight to hell must lead. Thus did he even in the midst of his group of attendants put the king to shame. Then the king said to him, I did not have you caught, Sumukha, to kill you and eat your flesh, but hearing how wise you were I was anxious to listen to your eloquence, and, making the matter clear, he said, No sin was mine, O Sumukha, nor seized I you through greed. Your fame for wisdom and deep thought, it was this that caused the deed. By chance if here they may say some true and helpful word. It was sir I asked the hunter to seize and bring you here, O bird. On hearing this Sumukha said, You have acted wrongly, sire, and he spoke as follows. We could not speak the word of truth, awed by approaching death. Nor when in death's last agony we have our parting breath. Who would a bird with bird decoy, or beast with beast pursue? Or with a text a preacher trap, nothing bad would he avoid. And whosoever utters noble words, intent on action bad, both here and in the next world sinks from bliss to full of suffering place. Be not overjoyed in glory's hour, in danger not distressed. Make good the defects, in trouble work hard to do your very best. Sages arrived at life's last stage, the goal of death in view. After a righteous course on earth, to heaven their way pursue. Hearing this stick to righteousness, O sire, and straight release. This royal Dharmarata bird, the perfect example of geese. Hearing this the king said, Go, fetch you water for their feet, and throne of solid worth. Lo, from his cage I have set free the noblest bird on earth. Together with his captain bold, Sir able and so wise, taught with his king in welfare and suffering ever to sympathize. Sure such an one right well deserves even as his lord to fare. Just as he was prepared with him both life and death to share. Hearing the king's words they fetched seats for them, and as they sat there they washed their feet with scented water and anointed them with oil 100 times refined. The master, in explaining the matter, said, The royal bird sat on a throne, 8-footed, shining bright, all solid gold, with cassie cloth overspread, a splendid sight. And next his king sat Sumukha, his trusty captain bold, upon a couch with tiger skin overspread, and all of gold. To them full many a cassie lord in golden bowls did bring, choice gifts of elegant food to eat, the offerings of their king. When this food had been thus served to them, the cassie king, to welcome them, himself took a golden bowl and offered it to them, and they from it ate honey and parched grain and drank sugar water. Then the great being, taking note of the king's offering and the grace with which it was made, entered into friendly talk with him. The master, to clear up the matter, said, thinking, how choice the gifts this lord of Cassie offered us, the bird, skilled in the ways of kings, made his inquiries thus. Do you, my lord, enjoy good health and is all well with you? I trust your realm is flourishing and ruled in equity. O King of geese, my health is good and all is well with me. My realm is very flourishing and ruled in equity. Have you true men to advise you, free from all stain and blame? Ready to die, if need there be, for your good cause and name. I have true men to advise me, free from all stain and blame. Ready to die, if need there be, for my good cause and name. Have you a wife of equal birth, obedient, kind in word, with children blessed, good looks, fair name, compliant with her lord? I have a wife of equal birth, obedient, kind in word, with children blessed, good looks, fair name, compliant with her lord. And is your realm in happy case, from all oppression free, held by no arbitrary sway, but ruled with equity? My kingdom is in happy case, from all oppression free, held by no arbitrary sway, but ruled with equity. Do drive bad men out from the land, good men to honor raise? Or do you righteousness avoid, to follow evil ways? I drive bad men out from the land, good men to honor raise. All wickedness I do avoid and follow righteous ways. Do notice the span of life, O King, how quickly it is spent. Or drunk with madness do regard the next world free from dread. I notice the span of life, O bird, how quickly it is spent. And, standing fast in virtues 10, the next world never dread. Almsgiving, justice, penitence, meek spirit, temper mild, peace, mercy, patience, charity, with morals undefiled. These graces firmly planted in my soul are clear to see, from where springs rich harvest of great joy and happiness for me. But Sumukha, though knowing nothing of evil we had done, right regardlessly gave release to words in harsh and angry tone. Things I knew not were to my charge by this bird wrongly laid, in language harsh. In this regard, I think, scant wisdom was displayed. On hearing this, Sumukha thought, this virtuous king is angry, because I rebuked him. I will win his forgiveness, and he said, I sinned against you, Lord of men, and words of rashness spoke. But when this royal goose was caught, my heart was like to break. As earth bears with all living things, as father with his son. Do you, O mighty king, forgive the wrong that we have done? Then the king took the bird up and embraced him, and seating him on a golden stool, he accepted his confession of error, and said, I thank you, bird, that you should never your nature true conceal. You breakest down my stubborn will. Upright are you, I feel. And with these words the king, being highly pleased with the exposition of the law by the great being, and with the straightforward speech of Sumukha, thought, when one is pleased, one should act so as to show one's happiness, and yielding his royal splendor to the birds, he said, whatever of silver, gold, and pearls, rich gems and precious gear, in Kasi's royal town is stored within my palace here. Copper and iron, shells and pearls, and jewels numberless. Ivory, yellow sandal wood, deerskins and costly dress. This wealth and lordship over all, I give you to possess. And with such like words honoring both birds with the white umbrella, he handed over to them his kingdom. Then the great being, conversing with the king, said, since you are glad to honor us, be pleased, O Lord of men, to be our master, teaching us those royal virtues 10. And then if your approval and consent we by chance win, we would take formal leave of you, and go to see our kin. He gave them leave to go, and, while the bodhisattva was still preaching the law, the sun arose. The master, to make the matter clear, said, the livelong night in deepest thought the king of Kasi spent. Then to that noble bird's request straight yielded his consent. When he had thus got his permission to depart, the bodhisattva, saying, "Be vigilant and rule your kingdom in righteousness," established the king in the 5 moral laws. And the king offered them parched corn with honey and sugar water in golden dishes. And when they had finished their meal, after doing them homage with scented wreaths and similar offerings, the king himself lifted the bodhisattva on high in a golden cage, and Queen Khema lifted Sumukha on high. Then at sunrise they opened the window and saying, "Sirs, go away," they let them loose. The master, to make the matter clear, said, "Then as the sun began to rise and break of day was near, soon from their sight they vanished quite in depths of azure sky. One of them, the great being, flying up from the golden cage, remained poised in the air, and saying, 'O sire, be not troubled, but be vigilant and abide in our advice,' he thus comforted the king, and taking Sumukha with him he made straight for Cittakuta. And those 90,000 geese issuing on from the golden cave settled on the high table land, and on seeing the 2 birds coming they set out to meet them and escorted them home. And thus accompanied by a flock of their family, they reached the plateau of Cittakuta. The master, to make the matter clear, said, seeing their chiefs all safe and sound returned from habitations of men, the winged flock with noisy cries welcomed them back again. Thus circling round their lord in whom they trust, these red geese paid all due honor to their king, rejoiced at his release. While thus escorting their king, these geese asked him, saying, "How, sire, did you escape?" The great being told him of his escape by the help of Sumukha, and of the action of King Samyama and his courtiers. On hearing this, the flock of geese in their joy sang their praises, saying, "Long live Sumukha, captain of our group, and long live the king and the hunter. May they be happy and free from sorrow." The master, to make the matter clear, said, "Thus all whose hearts are full of love succeed in what they do." Even as these geese back to their friends once more in safety flew. This has been fully told in the Kalahamsa birth. The master here ended his story and identified the birth. At that time the hunter was Channa, Queen Khema was the nun Khema, the king was Sariputra, the king's group of attendants the followers of Buddha, Sumukha was Ananda, and the goose king was I myself.